Welcome back to Shape, episode 4 now. It's going along. I like this weekly cadence. James, how are you?
Yep. I'm all good, man. I'm all good.
Yeah,
Can't complain. How are you
yeah,
doing?
cool. Good, good. The new Cursor website. What are you thinking?
I actually really like the new Cursor website. I think I'm loving. I was actually thinking about this earlier, and I don't know why. It was maybe. It was a thought process for one of my new projects that I've just started, like maybe for the last couple of weeks, and I love how like monochromatic the website is. Like they use like very limited. They use like a very limited color palette, um, which I love. Like personally, it's almost as if like they have like four colors, and yeah, actually, I like it. I just simplicity. It just like it's just basically showing you what you need to see.
Yeah.
The only thing I don't like is how every company that obviously uses cursor is like encased in that sort of rectangle shape. That's the only thing I don't like. How it's got
Yeah.
like each company name and it's in like a little container. I don't know why they did that. It just adds like noise to it, but whatever. It's something silly and stupid that you just scroll past it anyway. But
Yeah.
um,
I love how interactive it is. I like want it to be even more interactive. So I find myself like
yep,
trying to type into like the prompt fields and like nothing's happening. It's like, ah man, I want to see.
yeah,
Oh, I guess the main window does, but there's this like, oh, it says to try a cursor agent, download a cursor. Yeah. So it's like some sort of context limit of being able to just like play with it right there in a live
yeah.
environment would be super cool. It's probably something that I
Hmm.
would have done building it, but it's really, really
Yeah,
cool. I love the interactive windows, and the
yep,
color palette is awesome. Like it's
yeah,
just, completely different direction there. They
yep,
did a really great job on that. I think all the windows, there's like one window that's not interactive, or at least the magically
yeah.
accurate autocomplete. I can't. It's because it's like pre animated, but at least I want to like drag that window around on there. But it's awesome. I mean,
Yeah, I love
yeah,
how
so good.
I really love like the sort of imagery that they've used, like for the backgrounds, as if like it's the background of a desktop.
Hmm.
Um, like especially the top one, it's just like a watercolor or something.
Yeah,
It's pretty
yeah.
cool.
It's just good
Uh,
like palette usage all over the
yeah,
place.
exactly. It's like complements like the rest of the actual um the color palette throughout the rest of the website. But yeah, I think it's even the pricing page, it's like just so simple, man. It's like it literally tells you, here's our 4 tiers. They literally have like a little recommended like text, across like
Hmm.
the pro plan. um yeah,
Yeah.
I like it. I
If
like
any
how simple it is.
cursor engineers are listening, if you put a select none class on that pastel wallpaper that James was talking about, it won't glow blue if you drag a window off of it. I was just noticing as I was like dragging the window around outside of the container, the background turns blue because of
Oh
the
really?
element selection. But yeah, a select none class on there would prevent that from happening when dragging the window off to the side. It's still sick though.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Looks like they're hiring. Looks like mainly engineers. Speaking of hiring, Mary Codes on Twitter and Alvish Balda, they're um, have worked with us and were previously with me at Hypermode before. Hypermode's going through some exciting changes. There hasn't been a lot said about it. I can't really share much about it yet. Eventually, there'll be more shared about it. But like the company itself, making some exciting moves, and just decided that we're gonna, kind of take this opportunity to find new opportunities instead. I've had people reach out and say like, "Hey, sorry about hypermode," and it's like, no, not to apologize. Like, it's all good. Like it's not like a layoff or a termination or anything like that. Like there's no job cuts happening. Like, this is very voluntary, and it's extremely good relationships. It's all good vibes between everybody. They've been super supportive. We've been trying to be as supportive as possible, however we can in the transition. But yeah, so been considering opportunities and figuring out what's next. There's a lot out there, a lot of really cool companies doing a lot of really cool stuff. But I specifically wanted to advocate for Mary and Alvish being available, and they have tons of conversations happening right now. But if anybody wants to swoop in on that and
Yeah,
snag those opportunities, James and I have both worked with them, and they're both amazing.
yeah,
Alvish, like fastest product design I've ever seen. Like
yeah,
just
yeah,
you
yeah,
can iterate on design faster than anybody I've ever worked with. It's
yeah,
insane. And then Mary, like the quality of not only design but the code output, and like
yeah.
she's just really good at bringing her ideas to life at a production level. It's not
Hmm.
vibe coding. Like it's she's just like really talented, full stack
Yeah,
designer. And recently, I kind of helped her out getting more into like the data layer and database layer of things. It's just like a whole nother dimension of providing to the code base, contributing to the code base, and it just unlocks even more. And she's been excelling with that as well. So, yeah, if anybody's hiring and want to
yeah,
try to swoop those conversations, like now's the time to get into their DMs. It's
yeah.
Mary Codes and Alvish Balda.
They might have they might have some emails. I actually messaged Alvish today. I need to message Mary as well. But like I've had like obviously a few freelance projects come in that I've not been able to take on, or it's just not been the right fit, and I've obviously pushed them towards like Alvish and Mary just purely, obviously because I know they'll probably have some time coming up before maybe jumping into like another full time role or whatever. Um, but yeah, so Mary and Alvish, if you're listening, you might have your inbox flooded because
Oh,
like there was like a few, like a good few people that reached out like over the last couple of weeks, and I've just like I've not been able to take on any new work. So yeah, so those guys might have some exciting freelance stuff coming up.
that's
Um,
awesome. Just
but
genuinely good people too. Like that's
yeah, yeah, I loved
it's
working
like
with
the
those
most
guys.
important part of
Yeah,
hiring. Like any skill, any taste, any quality, like you can teach that, you can learn that, you can acquire that. But like the personality and the culture, just like fitting into a team is much harder. And I think is, when I'm hiring, like probably the most important part.
yeah,
When I reached out to Mary, I mean, and Alvish too, like both of them, it was just like very clear. I wanted to hang out with these people. Like I wanted
yeah,
to work with them every day. And
hmm,
no matter what the quality, that they were bringing to the team, like sure they had really great foundations and it was very clear that they were extremely talented, but just knowing right away when talking to somebody, you're like, yeah, I want to
yeah,
talk to that person again,
yeah.
and it
You know
just
what's
makes it so much easier.
You know what's fascinating? Like, what I was actually just thinking about this. When when Mary and Alvish came on, and I think for most of the guys, like when we were at Clerk, and obviously we worked together, like they literally were just sharing their work on Twitter, and it would literally just be a conversation between me and you, or you and someone else, and it'd be like, by the way, if you check this person's workout, like you should talk to them. And that's literally like the foundation of like how we actually like eventually, spoke to them and met them. And well, you've met Mary, I've not met Mary. Um but yeah, it's interesting how like just sharing your work on like Twitter and Dribble or whatever, is like a big um like can just be a big part of like getting like a full-time role somewhere. It's like fascinating how like it's totally different now to maybe if way back in the day when you had to like come up with like a full CV and like
Yeah. Oh
obviously
man,
it's
I'm
still
getting asked
like
that
that,
lately.
but
Yeah,
yeah,
like
it's still like
resume,
that,
things like
but
that. Usually, it's a pretty strong
yeah,
indication that it's more like a more traditional team, I guess. If somebody's like,
yeah,
I don't know, I
like a
haven't got
corporate
asked that
position or
lately,
something.
but yeah, like, can I see your resume or something? I don't know. That'd be so
Yeah,
weird. Like, I would immediately
yeah,
probably just be like, this isn't a good fit. Like, it's
yeah,
just a strong indication that you're asking the wrong questions. It's
yeah,
like, I want to know, like, what have you shipped? Like, show me what,
exactly,
what
yeah,
have what have you shipped lately? Either, in Figma or design. I guess I've been getting asked that like a couple of asked for portfolios, and it's really weird because I haven't really thought about that in
yeah,
like many years
hmm,
because like we work openly. Granted, I don't work as openly as you and the rest of our former team and such, but I've also just contributed to more of other people's work than I have of my own, and like that's
hmm,
extremely fulfilling. But it's really hard to like show up to a company that's asking for work that I've done and be like, James and I designed this together, Mary and I designed this together, Alvish and I designed this together, Luke and I designed it, like something like that. And it's just like, well, what did you do then? I'm like, ask them. Like it's more about what I did for them, to get their idea across the line, because it's either going to be, I'm going to sit with you and unblock you to get you inspired on kind of what we're doing, and like, oh yeah, this is cool. And then you leave that conversation like way more excited than when you came into it. That's always a goal. Or like, especially with you on web stuff, I remember in Toronto when we were sitting together working on the Tailwind, we were at Tailwind Connect, and we were working on a little microsite for Tailwind that never ended up getting shipped, but we were exploring this like bento exploration. Right. You remember that? And you were designing the bento, and I was working on some designs within it too, but then like thinking about the interactions, like what if we brought this to life in this way? So then I switch over and start writing code and like click animations on here to try to kind of like prototype what would happen if you click this, and these little micro interactions. And then suddenly we're like sitting close together and you're like, what about this? And what about this? And just kind of like driving that motivation on that. Like, that's what I like to do. Like, it's just like somebody else has some sort of idea and they want to see it come to life. And I'm like, what if? I mean, Cecilio Ruiz over at Vercel now, when we worked together, Planet Scale, holy cow, just like burning midnight hours of just what if, and just like coming up with crazy stuff. And it was just so fun. So it's like, here's what Cecilio and I did. Here's what James and I did. Here's what Mary and I did. Here's what Alvish and I did. So it's like, it's really hard to show a portfolio. And they're like, is this the right website? It just has like a little logo that spins in the middle and goes to your Twitter. Like, I any time that I would have to prepare like a portfolio, I'm spending that time shipping code instead. Like, I'm building products and shipping product and working with the team. Like, when in my life am I going to have time to like carve out and just put together like a canvas of my work? And like, it's really hard. It's just really, really hard. It's just so focused on like taking that time and providing it to business value instead.
Of course.
Like, I mean, I get the value in it, and I do want to, for the sake of having some sort of like memorialized space on the internet for Pixel Janitor. And like, here's, the work that I've contributed to, but I want it to be more of like a story, more of like Jeff Escalante's, his personal site is so good. And it talks about like what he's done, who he's worked with, here's your references type stuff. So it's like a living resume, and it's just so good. And I kind of want that even for just like my kids to find, just like, here's what my dad did.
I'm envious of people who like have like that living and breathing sort of portfolio where, like the thing that gives me like anxiety, right? Like I've obviously got like a website online, wireframe.co, where obviously it just tells you a little bit about me and the companies that I've worked with and things like that. But like working on that work tab is just like pure anxiety for me, because like if I do a project now, I know for a fact in like a year's time, I'm going to be like, I really want to remove that and put something else in, so it's like, I don't know, it just takes up so much time. Obviously there's probably, I mean, I can't think off the top of my head, but there's probably tools out there that just make that a lot easier. Like, I mean, Dribbble was obviously really good for that, where, it was almost like a kind of visual timeline of your work, like in chronological order. You could probably go back to like the oldest, shots that you posted on there. And then obviously, it would then you could scroll right through your old work. But actually having that sort of like living, breathing portfolio is like, it's a tricky one to kind of maintain for sure.
Mary had a really good idea the other day. She was telling me that she tagged like some of her favorite posts in the highlights tab of Twitter. I didn't realize that you could really do that.
Yeah.
Just like clicking on the sub menu and add the highlights. So you can just go to like her profile into like Mary Code's highlights, and you can just see like her, her work that she has promoted as her highlights.
Yeah.
And it's a really cool way to do it as well.
Yeah, it's a good way of
the
like
open so much. And it's like,
it. Yeah.
I have to go maintain like this website and this Twitter presence, and something else. And it's like, and like you said, Dribbble. I mean, I don't use Dribbble anymore, but that was definitely a place where I had a lot of stuff, but totally agree. I've scrolled back and deleted things that I'm just like, oh God, that's bad.
The highlights tab, like that's such a good way of like using that feature, because I use the highlights tab just for like design tips and stuff, and like Q&As I've done on Twitter before, so it's yeah, it's like I mean, it's probably. I mean, I don't know if it's really meant for anything, that tab. I don't know. It's just highlights. Maybe you highlight a tweet that you maybe like or refer to. But I would use the bookmarks feature for that. But
Hmm.
yeah, it's a good use case for it. I'll need to
Yeah.
maybe start thinking about doing that because yeah, it just gets lost in the void. I feel like if you make like if you tweet some new work or client work that you're working on, and then yeah, months later it just gets lost in the void of Twitter,
Yeah.
or
And I
X.
want to I want to encourage folks who maybe don't have like a big following or anything, like just keep posting. Like
Yeah,
it's gonna the quality will get discovered. I
yeah,
love finding people weekly that I'm just like, oh, this person only has a couple hundred followers, but holy
yeah,
cow, like this is really high quality stuff.
yeah,
And I need to do better of like trying to kind of promote that. I know Rid is so good at that. Rid Design on Twitter, like he'll find a new designer and just be like, I found this account, like check them out,
yeah,
really really good.
yeah,
And
yeah,
like of course you have a massive reach too to be able to do that, but there's just a lot of people out there still undiscovered. Maybe they don't want to be discovered too,
yeah.
and
I feel like
that's fine too.
I don't know about you, but like I feel like the Twitter algorithm changes so much. But like over the last like week, um, like I've been opening Twitter and like new designers are just like popping up on my like
Hmm.
for you tab like constantly, like not even as if like the posts are getting like thousands of like any engagement and stuff like that. It's like kind of pretty relatively new accounts, but some of the design work's actually really good. So I've just been like following people, and it's always good to just keep track of like other designers' work and for inspiration and things like that. But yeah, 100%. I think like I've spoke about this on another podcast, the Charlie Baker. But yeah, we spoke about that where I advocate for that so much. Just if you're a designer and you're working on a couple of projects or whatever, I think sharing your work is just like the most important thing because
Hmm.
it'll do a few things. It'll get you sort of that kind of web presence and people sort of like interacting with your work, and obviously that's a good thing. You want kind of eyeballs on you as a person and your work, obviously. Um, but I think it also kind of helps you. Um, obviously you've got to get people, that are maybe going to say negative things and stuff like that. But I would tell people just not to worry about any of that because, like, it doesn't matter where you are in your sort of kind of process of like being a designer. I think, everybody learns from each other. Like, and I love that. Like, I love when designers share their work because, maybe sparks an idea that I maybe didn't have, or like gives me inspiration for like another project, and maybe I see like a button that's done like a cool way or something like that, and I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. I'm just going to grab that for like a mood board or whatever, and just drag it in. So yeah, 100% definitely advocate for sharing your work all the time.
Yeah, there's something you said there, like as a person too, and it's so true. Like I think it speaks volumes, like how you communicate your design too. Because if you
Yep.
share a design, like for me, like it's almost instant mute if I say like, "Did I cook?" It's like,
Yeah,
does you communicate like that? Like you talk like that on a
exactly.
team to where you're just
Yeah,
like, "Did I cook?" Like
yeah.
it's
It's
like
almost like arrogance,
attention
isn't it? It's like,
grabbing. Yeah,
yeah, it's like
and
pure arrogance of like, obviously it's always good to like love the work that you're doing, and if
mhm.
you feel like you um you've made something cool, then that's fine. But like
Yeah.
sort of putting it
But
out
say
there that
that,
you've just
like,
made the
I'm
best
really
size.
excited about this
Yeah.
direction. I'm really excited
Yeah,
about this design.
of
Like,
course.
I
Yeah,
think this looks really nice. I'm really proud of this.
yeah,
Like, that's amazing. Like, I'm so
yeah,
excited for you. And anybody who gets in your replies and says something, anything other than being excited for you, also, like, mute those people. Like, they're
yeah,
just like, be excited for people out there. They're all just like, we're all just
exactly.
trying to do our best. So when
Yeah,
somebody's like really happy about something that they did, support them. Like,
of
be
course.
excited for them,
Yeah,
and it's
it
just
should be a
I think it
no-brainer.
reflects like
Like,
who you are, like how you communicate,
yeah, of
on
course.
around your designs, and how do you communicate to other people.
Yeah,
We've talked about this in past episodes. Like it's completely acceptable to say, I'm not looking for feedback on this. I just wanted to
yeah,
share. And
yeah.
like, hell yeah, dude. Like,
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Of course, as if you're truly just being honest with yourself, and you're kind of being self aware of like the sort of image that you're portraying online, and um, it's, I think like a big part of it now is like your own personal brand as well as like if you have like a sort of kind of agency or like a small company that you're starting. I feel like who you are behind that company and who you are online and how you kind of treat other designers and interact with other designers, I think is just, it goes a long way. So 100%, I think like kind of being self-aware and kind of auditing yourself, like especially on Twitter and other social networks like that, I think goes a long way.
It really does. Self-awareness is definitely the theme there. Is yeah, it's on you. It reflects you in various ways. I mean, even if you don't think of it that far, like somebody who might want to hire you is absolutely looking at that type of stuff. Like, how are you going to
Exactly.
communicate within the team? And you're not only going to contribute the quality that you're bringing in the designs, but the communication is critical.
Yeah.
There's been folks that wanted to join our team, and it's strictly just this very clear, huge ego
Yeah.
of pride that I just wasn't. It just couldn't happen.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to like introduce that to the team and let that happen, no matter how talented they were.
Yeah.
Because it just negatively impacts everyone else so much.
Of course.
So
it's a massive part of it. I think if you're aware of like how you're communicating with others, and if you've got like this like sort of like breadcrumb of like bad interactions online, I feel like it's not going to be good when it comes to actually getting hired and you're kind of wanting to join a team that maybe has like a really good team already, so yeah, 100%,
nobody wants to hire drama.
Of course.
They don't want the drama brought in, no matter how good you are.
Exactly. Yeah, I think it's a massive component for sure. I think like, I've always been a big believer in that, treat others how you want to be treated, and that goes for having an online presence as well, whether you've got like a community that you're building on Twitter or if you're, building a following elsewhere. I think it all should have that same sort of mentality of, just have that positivity and just build like a good people around you. And I think that always goes a long way.
I think ignoring the trolls is incredibly important. Like,
who
responds to something that you don't like, don't give in to them.
That mute button is powerful.
They're trying to poke you. Just mute them and let that sit, and completely ignore it. It's hard. Design's subjective. We all have our own opinions.
Exactly.
Some people just have a toxic way to communicate it, and it's just not okay. So we just have to ignore those people. Don't give them the attention they want.
Yep, for sure. Yep. See, like I said, the mute button and the mute function is probably my most favorite Twitter feature. So those four little letters, man, so good.
Speaking of Twitter, you posted something today. You're working on a new project. I'm reading it here for folks. We're working on a new project where the visual design is something quite out of my comfort zone, but having much fun with it. I was really happy to read that, because you have a very consistent style. Like, when something's designed by James McDonald. And then I clicked through here and I'm like, yeah, it is. It's different. It's very different than what. So is this something that like you are intentionally kind of like stretching yourself, or is this like teaming up with them on kind of a style that they're wanting you to try to tap on? Like,
so someone asked in the replies, it's a good question, like they said, like, out of curiosity, how did you end up working on a project with such aesthetics? Was it part of the brand, the client name, or was it purely your exploration? And I think that's a good question, because like I think when I took on the project, like the I mean, I don't know how much I can say. Like, I mean, I've shared the guy's name and stuff like that, so I think it'll be okay to say. But when he contacted me, Alessio, his name is. It was honestly, it was like an open book, which, I love those sort of projects. It's like very much, I just really like your work. Would love for you to kind of come on and design this like sort of kind of mini website that we're starting. And for our new company. And the brief was very basic. It was just like, we need like 3 sections, and we basically just need that sort of kind of sci-fi, futuristic, like gaming sort of vibe. So he sent like a couple of images, and it was basically like the old retro, like, what's that game, Fallout? Was it
Oh yeah,
Fallout?
that's not
Yeah,
retro.
so
Well, I guess
not
it's a
retro, but
retro
you know what I
version.
mean, like the
Yeah,
the sort of kind of vibe, that sort of like sci-fi, like kind of silly,
yeah.
sort of kind of like
Steampunk, I
vintage.
think is what technically
Yeah,
like that is too. Yeah,
yeah. So like it was very much that aesthetic, and obviously right away I was like, oh my, like this isn't my sort of like like this is way out of anything that I usually design for
Mhm.
clients. So I think like a good, I think like you just have to take on those projects, now and again, because I think it does a really good thing where it gets you out your comfort zone. You then look at other sort of like random things for inspiration that then you can maybe sometimes like grab for new projects in the future, and you might not use them for this project in particular, but it might come in handy in the future. So I always like to do it for that reason as well. But yeah, I think like the whole aesthetic. It's we can. I mean, we can probably just show up a picture or something like that of like some of like the tweet or something like that. But or we can even link the tweet actually in the show notes. But
yeah,
um, yeah, it's like just basically this sort of kind of sci-fi, sort of like futuristic vibe, where there's lots of like sort of line work and like random lines and like scan lines and like that sort of like, what's the old TVs called, like the
CRT.
CRT screens, like
Yeah,
that sort of like aesthetic. Um, and yeah, it was yeah, I feel like I've been working on it for the last couple of weeks, and I've been experimenting with like shaders and things like that. So I was playing around with Paper, the new like design
yeah,
tool that's out,
yeah.
and they've got like some really cool like shader um like functionality where you can like really play around with some of like the sliders and things like that, and like you can get like really really interesting sort of kind of effects from that. So yeah, I was messing about with that, and yeah, I'm actually really liking how it's coming along, and like the client's actually quite happy with it as well. So um, yeah, it's fun. I mean, I think like the lesson there is just like, I think it's fine to kind of get out your comfort zone sometimes, and um, I think like, yeah, by doing that, it almost like you kind of start learning new things. You learn a new skill. You maybe learn how to use like a sort of kind of different font that you'd maybe like not use quite regularly.
Mhm.
So obviously I'm using like pixel fonts again, which is funny because when was the last time we used pixel fonts? Way back in the day. Well, me anyway. I've not used a pixel font in a while. Um, but yeah, loving it, man. Like I'm enjoying that project. I think like I said, it's just so much fun to do that sort of work, and obviously, super grateful that they chose me to do it. But yeah,
That's
it's
cool.
it's, it's fun.
Where's your go-to inspiration site these days?
Honestly, like for this project in particular, I used Pinterest, because like
Yeah,
Pinterest, I've just got like like it's so great for like just typing in like a couple of words, like I think I typed in like sci-fi graphics or something like that,
hmm,
and honestly, like I love how like when you click into like an image in Pinterest, it then shows other images related to that
yeah,
particular image.
yeah.
So it's so powerful for like just quickly grabbing like stuff for like a mood board or like inspiration that you want to kind of put inside Figma, and just like just kind of take inspiration from different parts. But yeah, I use like Pinterest for that sort of stuff. Well, for this project in particular,
Hmm.
obviously
Have you
like
used
the usual.
Cosmos?
No, I haven't used.
Cosmos.so.
I haven't. No.
Somebody pointed it to me recently, and I've been using that instead of Pinterest now. Yeah, it's
Oh, nice.
Cosmos.so.
Right.
It's like a higher quality UI. Like it seems like
I think
their
I've seen this
algorithm
before.
is like more geared to higher quality images. Uh,
Got you. I'll need to
yeah,
sign up for that.
it's really good. I've used it instead of Pinterest. I really like Pinterest. It just kind of
Yeah.
falls over often for me, like where I'll just click on something and nothing happens. And so
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah,
I've enjoyed Cosmos lately for inspiration. That's cool.
nice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
glad
I
to
love
be
that.
exploring.
Yeah, I think like Pinterest, definitely use that, and then obviously use like Mobbin for like
Oh yeah,
they've got like a new sites thing where like it's almost like a land book or a site inspire. It's like very similar to that.
yeah.
But I love how like you can just type in um like if you're working on like a billing page, you can literally just type in billing and it'll literally show you everything that's like got tagged billing. Like um you like all sorts of different screens on there. So it's good for inspiration. I'm trying to think of like any out of the box sort of
Are you
websites that I've
are you
used
using
recently.
any AI powered tools for inspiration? There's like Visual Electric out there, Midjourney.
Yeah, I mean, I've used Midjourney. I mean, I use it. I mean, I don't know if I need to like get better at prompting for sure. Like, I need to
Yeah,
spend more time in some more AI tools. But yeah, I was actually using Nano Banana by
dude,
Gemini.
it's amazing. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah. So I was using that for the there's basically like a team section on the new website that I'm working on,
Hmm.
and yeah, I used that just because it's like like Alessio he mentioned that he wanted like his sort of image and like the team images not just to be normal images. So I feel like using like an AI tool like helps like try and kind of separate it from just being like a general image. So we used that Nano Banana. We're trying to incorporate some of like the dither effect that we're using in the hero for that. But yeah, that's been quite fun to try and come up with different ideas there. But yeah, I think
That's cool.
I think like yeah, just using that. I can't really think of anything else that I've used. Maybe for like inspiration, but um,
I'm
yeah,
really
I
curious
think like
how Figma's new AI tooling that they're kind of teasing and starting to
yeah,
put
I
into
think I've
beta. I'm
seen some.
curious how that's going to impact how we design in Figma in itself, and
Yeah,
I'm sure it's really
I think
good. But yeah.
I really like the example they showed where like it was like they prompted something like create like an empty state for this screen, and
Mhm.
like if you're able, I don't know if it obviously has all the fonts and like it has like the general style already there, and you're prompting from like an actual original source, a screen that you're working on. I'm curious to know how over time how good that's going to be. If it's actually got like the sort of design patterns that you're using there. Is it going to get smart enough where it like you can literally design the homepage and then say right, design from this homepage, design like an about page, a
Pricing
team
page.
page, a
Yeah.
pricing page. Yeah, like
Yeah.
I think I really want to. I actually keep meaning to reach out to the guy. I think his name's Sam, and he's working on, and it's like basically like I think they're basically going to be like the first tool that you can basically. I think you can like literally just post like your design. Say you're working on like a product or whatever, and you post like some of the UI. You can then take that and then prompt it so that then you can then create a new batch of like UI like pages from that UI. So yeah, it seems interesting. Like they're still I think they're still like closed alpha or whatever. Like, I don't think they're open to sign ups or whatever right now. But yeah, I'll try and remember the name of it. But it seems pretty interesting from some of the
That's cool.
demos I'd
Sounds cool.
seen.
Well, as we wrap up here, one thing we wanted to point out, we've had some folks reaching out for sponsorship opportunities, and we're super flattered by that. It's something we honestly never even
Yeah,
really considered when we were talking about doing this, but really
yeah,
stoked people want to support us and keep doing this. We want to keep doing weekly episodes here, and we're happy to help teams that we like get their names out. I think that's a really important thing to us is that we want to work with partners that we love
yeah.
ourselves
We
and
care
not
about
just kind of
yeah,
anybody. Again, like we didn't plan on taking any money for this necessarily, but we certainly appreciate the support. So if anybody's interested in teaming up with us on partnerships and sponsorships within the show, please reach out to the either our DMs or hello at shape.fm. Shape.fm is our contact email. Yeah, happy to to talk with you on opportunities and help support your product and what you're doing. And really appreciate everybody who has already reached out. We've already started conversations and gotten some commitments, so we'll start working those into episodes soon. But yeah, really excited about that.
Yeah, 100%. I just want to follow that up by saying, yeah, we're absolutely flattered that anyone would want to kind of sponsor us and be part of the show. But yeah, 100%. If like Derek said, if anyone is interested and curious about that, yeah, just shoot us an email. Hello@shape.fm, and yeah, we'll be in touch.
Cool. Yeah. James
Yeah.
is James M on Twitter. If you want to follow him, I'm Pixel
Yeah.
Janitor on Twitter. But yeah, we'll see you next time. Have a good rest of the week, bud.
Yeah. Have a good one. Take care. See ya.